Harry Kane has a trophy, and the La Liga title race is coming down to the wire, folks.
Liverpool are still bright and shiny on top, and Napoli seem to be in the best form to take the Serie A. All this and more on this episode 65 of the No Business Soccer Podcast. Snooze, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Yes. Welcome back to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we got Brainiac J-Fam on the ones and twos, and my boy Hype Man Vic over there. What you sipping on, dog?
Well, I'll tell you what, this is one of your bourbons, pretty much the only bourbon you know. But
yeah, you're gonna call me out like that.
Yeah, it's a good old Blanton's. I'm just trying to finish this, so we'll finish this before the end of this podcast here. Almost done, and then I'll have to find something to do with this, and then open up the big one too. So
yeah.
But this is like just classic bourbon right here. Nothing special. It's just a really cool bottle. But while I take this first sip, go ahead and hit the like button. And then once I cheers here, you'll go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. I don't think you can hear that now that
I heard it.
Okay, cool.
That was cheers, the first time I've heard it, though. Yeah. And tell everybody in on why I like that bottle is because you collect them and they have little letters on them and you can spell out Blanton's. It's pretty cool. And you can get them mounted or something like that.
Yeah, you see a little horsey on top.
It's like little toys. You don't have to put the E at the end of horsey. You can say horsey. My bad. But I was gonna break the fourth wall for a second because I wasn't sure if my boy was gonna have a drink today because we went out as a group, saw a show last night, and he was, when I left anyways, my boy was getting it. I was like, he's not drinking tomorrow, is he? But here he is, like a champ for the show, for the peep, for No Business fam.
I have a reputation to uphold here.
Fair enough.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but you know.
Well, we actually we're going to fly through today's show because not only does our producer today, I was going to say Danny P, but he's not with us today. I don't know what he's doing actually. He never told us. He's just not here. That's why J-Fam's on the ones and twos. But he's got a soccer game tonight. And our boy, Hyman Vic, he's got to pick up his mom from the airport. So we got to fly through this stuff. And we have a full schedule to go through, everything to wrap up from the weekend. This is your European wrap-up or reach around, whichever one you prefer. And then, obviously, we got to talk about a couple of things that are happening in Europe. Maybe you've heard of them, Champions League, Conference League, and Europa League. But before we get into those, we have to stay right here in Austin, Texas, unfortunately, for Boots on the Ground with the Austin FC Minute.
Yes. Another disappointing weekend. We just welcomed Minnesota United to Q2 Stadium Saturday night, and they beat the brakes off of us. Brad Stuver actually had an error. Did they call him errors? I don't know. I know it's like baseball talk, but this
it was an error though.
Yeah,
for sure.
The winger hit it from like almost outside the box. It was pretty far, and it just went through his legs. And you know what happens to the best of us? You know what I mean? It happens all the time. It happens to everybody. But yeah, that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. Although we did kind of like dominate as far as like possession and everything, we gave up 3 silly goals pretty quickly. And not looking too good. But we did see David Taylor come up, Robert Taylor.
David Robert Taylor?
Yeah, Robert Taylor. We did see Robert Taylor take the field, so he looked pretty impressive there for a little bit. I think he came in for about 20, 30 minutes. And we have to turn it right back around because we have the mighty El Paso Locomotive this Wednesday in the, I believe, the U.S.
Open Cup, right?
U.S. Open Cup. Yeah, U.S. Open Cup here. And, that's here in Q2 Stadium again. I think me and producer Danny P will be there, so if you guys see us,
I might be there.
There. You said that Saturday.
Whoa, calling me out. All right. Yeah, I did.
But yeah, not good times right now. Hopefully we can get a win over a USL or lower division team, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, let's stop talking about that because it's depressing. Let's jump right in to Italy.
Let's do it then. To Serie A.
And all was right in the world after a crazy topsy-turvy last weekend with all the schedule changes and everything. We just had everything going great today, and it started off on Friday. Venezia and Torino split the points in a 1-1 draw. Venezia looked the best I've seen them all season and took a much-deserved 1-0 lead before giving up a pen for a handball in the 76th minute, Vic. It was a tough way for them to drop points, but hey, they're pushing for safety. They at least get a point out of it, but they should have got 3. On Saturday, Como beat Parma on the road, and this was one of the best matches I watched this weekend. Both teams were going after it, smooth passing, and man, there could have been way more goals with a little bit more luck. This looked like a La Liga match for sure. Not something you're used to seeing from 2 mid-table teams in the Serie A, but I will call them El Como from now on. They make it 5 wins in a row, man. They are looking fantastic out there, El Como. Udinese get their first Serie A win in 7 matches with a 2-1 road win over Cagliari. Disappointing result for that packed house in Cagliari. We've talked about it before. I'm a fan of that. Napoli do what they do and grind out 1-0 wins over inferior opponents, this time with a 1-0 lead over Lecce, or win over Lecce. Now, Napoli's goal was an awesome free kick from Raspadori, so I'll give them credit for that, but everything else, man, it was kind of a dull game. Inter get a 1-0 win of their own over Verona, and it was a bare minimum required, bare minimum delivered effort. But unlike Napoli, they still have to worry about Barcelona and trying to get to that Champions League final in a couple days. So, yeah, more there on their plate for Inter. On Sunday, Empoli fall 1-0 to Lazio at home, and while our Lazio got the 3 points, they were up a man from the 35th minute to the 75th minute and couldn't score more than 1 goal. And that first goal came in the 30 seconds of the match, or that goal came in the first 30 seconds of the match. So, I just want to see more for them is what I'm trying to say. You're playing a team that's about to be relegated. You're up a man for, most of the match, and you still can't score. That's just not good enough. Atalanta dominate Monza on the road with a 4-0 win, and Monza defensively look like the worst team in Serie A, and they are, folks. That's why they're out. Roma get a 1-0 win over Fiorentina and look damn good doing it. Roma are getting closer and closer to the Champions League places, and they have a good chance of doing that, which would be incredible. And I'm still writing up that Ranieri Roma revival tour. It's going to be awesome. Bologna and Juve split the points in a 1-1 draw, and we'll talk about this one more in a second. And then today, Milan get a 2-1 win over Genoa on the road to make it back-to-back wins for the Rossoneri, and they continue their push for Europe. I don't know if it's going to be Champions League or not, but they're pushing for something there. Vic, where does that leave us in the table after match day 35, sir?
Yeah, taking a look at the table, we have Napoli on top. They have 77 points. They seem to be in the best form right now to take this Serie A championship. We will see soon enough. But they are right on their heels is Inter Milan with 74 points. Atalanta are in the number 3 spot with 68 points, a clear 6 points behind Inter Milan. And then Juventus round out our top 4 with 63 points. But I will say, like you brought up, Roma are in the number 5 spot right now, also with 63 points. And then Lazio also have 63 points in the 5th spot and 6th spot, respectively. And then Bologna just trying to fight into those Europa League spots, those Champions League spots. They have 62 points. And, it's getting real fun right there. There's 3 games left. Yeah. It's going to be absolutely insane to finish out this season. Not as exciting on the bottom here, Venezia. They have 26 points there in the 18th spot, followed by Empoli, who have 25 points. And then now we have our relegation team, Monza. They have been at the bottom of the table for a while, officially, mathematically eliminated from Serie A. That's the way to say it, right? Eliminated from Serie A. Yeah. But they have earned their relegation. Red R on their their placement. Yeah, their badge is still there. Their placement. We will see. We won't see y'all next year. Sayonara, boys. And I think it's kind of well deserved. They've been down there for quite a while, man. Anything on the
solid foundation, as you've been saying.
A solid foundation, absolutely.
No, you said it all. That we're in for a treat in these final Champions League. Well, the European place push. Can't believe how close it is in a lot of these leagues. So
it's looking. It's pretty crazy, man. It's we have a couple of winners in two of the leagues that we cover. Obviously, Bundesliga now.
Spoiler alert!
Sorry, and Liverpool, of course. But man, this Serie A table is going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
A couple more weeks to go too.
Sorry, go ahead. I was going to say you want to talk about a match. What match were we going to talk about?
That's what I was going to say. And we watched the Bologna and Juve this past weekend. And for all the I don't know what I'll call it, the stakes, I guess, that were going on with this match, I was very excited to sit down and watch it. And it was on Sunday afternoon. We had a show we were going to, so I was like, all right, let me sit down and just like zone in on one game. And this was the one I chose, and it's kind of disappointing. Juve went up a goal early in the 9th minute. And from my point of view, after that, they kind of just sat back. I mean, they had the ball and they were moving around, but it never felt like they were truly trying to go out to get more goals to win this match. And Bologna went after it. And as soon as and they should have, they should have done that because they're the home team, of course. But they really, it wasn't, I guess what I'm trying to say is there wasn't like both teams felt like they were trying to go for the winner until too late. Because Bologna, they get the equalizer in the 54th minute. But it's a 1-1 draw for both teams. It's a frustration at the end. You can see it on their faces. And I think Bologna, that at the end of it, they felt like they were probably the team that deserved to win. But they had more shots, 65% possession, double the amount of passes, and just no goals. Not the second goal anyway. To show for it, there was no reward. But that's such is life in football. That happens. But the thing that is most frustrating is the result for both sides, because now that they have they split the points, Juve are level on points, as we'll find out here in a moment, with a few teams behind them, and they could have put them kind of in the rear view. They can't anymore. Everybody's level, like you were just showing. Well, actually, we just talked about that. Why am I saying we're going to?
I was like, I can go back to it if you want.
Yeah, we can go back to it. No. Yeah, so Lazio and Roma with 63 points, and that was kind of what we were saying, is that if there were a few results that were happening as well as not a win for Juve, they could very well be outside looking in for the Champions League spots, and it's exactly what happened. Now they're still there, but next week that could change. We only have 3 more matches, and that's what makes this so exciting. And Bologna, they're only 1 point back, so it's not like they are disappointed too much with the draw. But man, 3 points would have been very useful for them with how everybody else turned out in the table. And the best way to put it is there's just going to be chaos with all these matches coming up. And on the look ahead, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say you might be saying what I'm about to say right now, but next week actually, Juve and Lazio play each other. So 4 and 6, they're tied right now.
I hadn't even looked at the
spoils. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah, I was gonna say we'll dive into the final 3 matches and who we think is gonna be making it in the look ahead that's coming out on Friday, Thursday, sometime. You'll see it. Right. But either way, we'll take a look at that before it gets to it. Okay. Vic, anything else we need to say in Italy?
All good in Italy. Can't wait to see how it plays out.
Let's move on to Spain.
Let's do it to La Liga. Smooth.
Okay. So smooth every time. And it got kicked off in a smooth way. That's not a good transition. With Rayo getting a 1-0 win over Getafe. And they're now fighting with Celta and Mallorca for the Conference League spot next season. Getafe, a Getafe player, I guess I got to call this out. This is kind of a side note, I guess we'll call it. In the match, after Rayo got the 1-0 win over them, it was towards the end of it, Getafe had a player that got a yellow card. And then the dude runs up to the ref and gets in his face and just starts talking shit. He just going off on the ref and acting like he's going to fight him or something. It's very stupid. And then, of course, he gets another yellow and he gets sent off. And it's yeah, what do you think is going to happen? Stop doing that. Why? What do you think is going to happen? Anyway, I just had to call that. I was stupid. Saturday, we said that Alaves could get something from this match against Atleti, and they did. They get a 0-0 draw. Miserable result for Atleti, but Alaves needed that point as they're trying to survive. And then we had Villarreal 4, Osasuna 2, and they put on a show for us, and the scoreline flatters Osasuna a bit. They were down 3-0 before they got their first goal, and it was and they get a late penalty to make it 4-2. So Villarreal keep Betis at bay for the Champions League spot with this win, and man, they're just scoring goals in bunches at this point. Las Palmas fall at home 3-2 to Valencia, and they are now treading water and very, very close to being relegated with all that's happened to their captain, Kylian Rodriguez. Kylian Rodriguez. I'm rooting for them, and I hope they can make it, but they definitely didn't need to lose this one. Barca rotated their squad and gave up an early goal to send the Valladolid crowd home with a good memory, at least, because they stormed back to get 2 goals to take the 2-1 win and keep pace with La Liga, with the La Liga title. Yeah, whenever we were texting, it was like halftime 1-0, I think, and
Yeah.
we're like, no way, this is not going to happen.
Really? Yeah.
It's hilarious. And then on Sunday, it's probably some of the better games, like a really fun Sunday afternoon for La Liga. Real Madrid get a 3-2 win over Celta, and it was Los Blancos season in a nutshell. They raced out to a 3-0 lead and looked freaking fantastic doing it. Specifically, Arda Güler, he got the start, and he had a ridiculous goal, and he had I don't want to say ridiculous again, so let's put awesome assist for Mbappe. I mean, the guy's just really good. The way they were linking up was insane, but then like they've done all season, they give up 2 late goals to Celta to make a collective cheeks in the Bernabeu clinch, and ultimately they get it done, and they keep pace with Barca at the top of the table. But, man, it was really cool to see Arda Güler get a start after a while and then, like, come in and just look like the best player on the pitch with all those stars out there. Sevilla draw 2-2 with Leganés, and really this should have been a Leganés win, but because with virtually the last kick of the game, the Sevilla keeper, he comes out for a long ball, and he whiffs. And then it's an open goal, and Leganés has a 3-on-2, and the dude is just running down, but the player on the wing doesn't pass it to the guys in the middle who had an open goal, and he just shoots and misses, and they lose. And that might be why they go down, because that guy was an idiot. If you watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I cannot believe he didn't pass that ball. And I don't want to say I hope they go down, because that's kind of rude for one moment of this whole season, but it's so dumb. And then the match that everybody's talking about in La Liga, Betis got a 2-1 road win over Espanyol, and it was a comeback for the ages, Vic. It was a 1-0 in the 84th minute for Espanyol before Giovanni Lo Celso dices through the Espanyol defense to get the equalizer. And then Anthony, the GOAT, he gets a special winner. I don't even know how to describe it. You have to watch the highlights, and you've probably seen them already if you're watching this. But it was just amazing. Like, the dude is actually really, really good. All the GOAT talk is obviously a little much, but not really, I guess. I mean, the guy's killing it. But really, what kind of stood out in my mind was that I didn't get to see the end of the game because we had to take off. But Vic, we were at a show, and he has his phone out. He's like, dude, look at this highlight.
Bro,
and I see that goal, right? Vic, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, amazing. I was like, guys, you got to look at this. Oh my God. Yeah, right in the middle of the show. But that was beautiful. Camera angle was great too. You see it just absolutely bend straight into the corner. Yeah.
Yeah. J-Fam was like, that's undefensible. Like, there's nothing that anybody could do for that type of strike. And he's right, man. But the comeback for this team, since everything kind of went down with Anthony and the whole winter transfer window, is just insane. What a special match. What a special goal. Can't wait to see. I mean, I'm really hoping for them to be in the Conference League final against Chelsea. That would be awesome. Like, if we get that as a Conference League final, and then we get Spurs and hopefully Bilbao, we'll see. And then maybe PSG Barca, like, that would be a dream scenario. Okay, let's move on, though. The derby ends 0-0, as we kind of predicted it would happen in the preview, because there's not a lot to play for this season for either team as far as the La Liga is concerned. La Real, they're mid-table. They're not going anywhere. And Athletic Club, they're in not in the final, but they're in one more leg, and they have a lot of work to do. So they should have been rotating, and I believe they had a couple of starters out. But either way, it was a boring 0-0 game. On Monday, Girona get a 1-0 win over Mallorca, it just might have saved their season. So my hope to see a team that was in the Champions League and get relegated seems to be over, Vic. Where does that leave us in La Liga after match day 34, sir?
Yes. Well, Barcelona are still on top. They have 79 points, in great form. Haven't lost in at least 6 games. That's the only thing we can see right there. But follow behind them is Real Madrid. They have 75 points, trying to keep pace with Barcelona with 4 games left. Who knows what is going to happen? Atletico Madrid are behind them with 67 points, a clear 8 points behind Real Madrid. So we kind of know what's going to happen there. Not going to be really going for the title, but top 3 ain't bad. Athletic Club are in the number 4 spot with 61 points. And then rounding out our top 5 is Villarreal with 58 points. And tickling our top 5 is your boy Anthony with Real Betis. They have 57 points, trying to crack into those Champions League spots. And I think almost everybody is pulling for them as well. The other Europa League spot we have there is Celta Vigo. They have 46 points. There's a clear 9 points behind, or 11 points, behind Real Betis. So there's a gap there. But, they're still working to get in that Europa League spot. They're still there. So pretty crazy. Looking at the bottom of the table, Las Palmas would be, I was going to say this would be the first team relegated as the season ended today, but the first team relegated is my Volley Dolies. They've been relegated for a couple weeks. So, but going back to Las Palmas, they have 32 points in the 18th spot. Leganes are in the 19th spot with 31 points. And then again, my Volley Dolies, Real Valladolid, for all those people who are saying, what's Volley Dolies? I know their name is Real Valladolid. It's just I said it wrong one time. You guys probably weren't listening.
It's an inside joke. That you just make outside.
Yes,
those always work.
Yeah, but they have earned their R, and they are on a 6-game losing streak at least. And well, good luck next season, boys. And I still have your cup. Anything on the table you want to take a look at or call out? Snooze.
Just how. Looking at the difference, we were just talking about how in the Serie A there's so many different combinations we can see for the final 3 match days over there, and how like those we don't know how it's going to turn out. In La Liga, there's 2 spots up to grab and 3 teams going for them, right? Like we have Villarreal, Athletic Club, and Betis, and they're all a few points away from each other. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see where they end up. But man, that's it's not as tight in some of the other leagues, but it would be really cool. And I was kind of hoping that Mallorca would win today. With if they would have been on 47 points, which should have made it a little bit more interesting for them. In trying to get that spot. But I mean, if you look at Rayo Vallecano, like you just mentioned, 44, 40, like 3 teams are tied for that last spot, and then there's only a couple more points between them, and like. It'd be insane if Valencia ends up getting into the Conference League after being, you know what I mean?
Imagine that, yeah. I'm saying Valencia very quietly at 42 points, man. They're just 2 wins away from there, and that's crazy.
It just shows you how good the La Liga has been, how the Spanish teams have been in the Conference League in UEFA competitions. Because I mean, the top 8, essentially half of the table gets into Europe year after year, and that doesn't even kind of keep in fact that Betis could win the Conference League and Barcelona could win the Champions League, which means that this would go down to like 9 and 10. Yeah. I mean, that's crazy.
Half the field,
that's insane. So anyway, I just wanted to call that out. And we didn't really have a game that we were going to be focusing in on. So I wanted to kind of just talk about the table and the implications of what we're going on with it. A lot of what we were just talking about is kind of what I was interested in seeing and how it played out. And we didn't really get too many answers other than the fact that Mallorca had a really good chance of getting up there and kind of staking their claim. Is that? Staking their claim to that Conference League spot. But now it's up in the air. We're going to have to see what happens there. And that was really it. There are a lot of good games, though, man. That Betis game was insane. Real Madrid making a game of that Celta Vigo game, which it shouldn't. They should have been great. And of course, Villarreal and Osasuna. So that's all I had for La Liga hype, man. Vic, I think we're good to go.
All good.
Moving right along. Let's do it. Let's go to Germany.
Let's do it then. To Bundesliga.
And as you heard a second ago, and at the top of the show, I said it, there is a champion, and they have been crowned. And Harry Kane is that champion. I mean, he's part of the champion. You know what I'm saying? Let's jump right into it, though. On Friday, Heidenheim and Bochum play out a 0-0 draw, which that wasn't good for any of the teams that are trying to survive. Bochum, obviously, are probably on their way down, but Heidenheim, they needed something out of this, and they didn't get it. On Saturday, Gladbach and Hoffenheim drew 4-4, and holy hell, Vic, this was an insane match. Had to catch your breath afterwards. It was 2-0 to Gladbach. Then Hoffenheim came back to make it 2-2, which the score ends 4-4. So you're like, okay, how did this all go down? Well, let me tell you. It was 3-2 before Adam Locek's ridiculous equalizer made it 3-3. And Locek plays for Hoffenheim, obviously. So, it just kept going back and forth and back and forth. And then once he makes it 3-3, I was watching this match at the corner of my eye. I was kind of like, golly, like that is insane. It was already late in the match. But then Hoffenheim, out of nowhere, takes a 4-3 lead before Kleindienst levels it to split the points in the 90th minute. And it was just insane. Like the way that these leads kept changing I just hadn't seen that in a while, and it was a fun match. No defense, no defense, but a fun match. And then to kind of make it, I mean, it was a fun Bundesliga weekend. Union come back from 2-0 down at home to split the points in a 2-2 draw with Bremen. And we said in the preview that these are two of the hottest teams in the Bundesliga at the moment, and they put on a show. There's some fireworks. It was awesome to see. Sad that Bremen couldn't keep their 2-0 lead, but, it was on the road. And we've said multiple times, Union is a tough place to play, and hopefully we're there one day. Leipzig delay the inevitable, forcing a 3-3 draw with Bayern. And we'll talk about this one more in a second because other matches in other places, I guess is what I'm trying to say, made that kind of, didn't matter. Stuttgart find a way to get it done with a 1-0 win on the road against 10 men of St. Pauli. This was a much-needed result for VfB. And St. Pauli, realistically, they just needed points from the two matches, so they're not going to be relegated. But, yeah, Stuttgart really needed that. Death taxes and Dortmund finding a way to get into the Champions League. They beat Wolfsburg 4-0 at home, and you knew it was coming. Adeyemi came off the bench and gets a brace. The place was packed out. Great day in Dortmund. Another place that's on the bucket list. It has been since I first started watching. They're the yellow team, Vic.
Yeah,
of course, everybody knows that. On Sunday, Kiel get a dominant 3-1 win over Augsburg on the road. Kiel, the team that's been on the bottom all year. They've now won back-to-back matches and have only lost once in their last 5. They might do it. There's a chance, Vic. They just might get themselves into that playoff spot over Double H, and that would be freaking insane if it happened. Late Verkusen, that's right, Late Verkusen do it again as they get a stoppage time equalizer to split the points in a 2-2 draw with Freiburg after going 2-0 down. But ultimately, it wasn't enough to push the title race down the road as they needed 3 points. They didn't get those 3 points, and that is why Bayern were crowned as Bundesliga champions. Mainz and Frankfurt split the points in a 1-1 draw, and this was not the Frankfurt team that we saw last week, Vic, tearing through Leipzig. I expected way more from them against a Mainz team that haven't won a match in ages, but I guess Eintracht, they have third place. Champions League is locked up, and they're in no real need to push. I think they just kind of took out some frustrations against Leipzig. But either way, I do want to shout out, though, Jonathan Burkhardt. He scores his 16th goal of the season, becoming the record holder for most goals scored in a single season for Mainz. So bravo, sir. Oh. But yeah, Frankfurt definitely disappointed there.
I think Frankfurt just knew that we bet a freaking lunch. That's the only reason they played well last week. That's the only thing.
Yes, that's the only reason, literally. Okay, Vic, let's take a look at the table after this match day 32.
Let's do it. So, yeah, as you said, Bayern Munich have got their hardware as well as Harry Kane. They're in the number 1 spot and take the Bundesliga with 76 points. They were able to outlast Bayern Leverkusen, who are in the number 2 spot with 68 points. Eintracht Frankfurt are in the 3rd spot, a clear 12 points behind Bayer Leverkusen with 56 points. And then rounding out our top 4 is Freiburg with 52 points. Borussia Dortmund are tickling our top 4. They are able to take advantage of a week where we had 6 draws. They're one of only the 3 teams to get a win and are able to leapfrog Leipzig into the number 5 spot and in that Europa League, I guess top Europa League spot. And it's still got a couple more games. They could sneak into the Champions League, as you said earlier, and it's going to be fun to watch going down the stretch here. Not as fun to watch going down any stretch is Heidenheim, who are in the number 16 spot. They have 26 points in that playoff relegation battle there. Holstein Kiel in the 17th spot with 25 points. Looking pretty good. 2 straight wins, as you said. I think 1 loss the last 5. Working to get out of there and try not to be in any relegation battle. But Bochum, it's a far gone conclusion. They will be there. They have 22 points in the last spot. A good, solid foundation for Bundesliga. They've been there for, I think, majority of the season. So, they'll probably be there a little bit longer. Yeah. Anything on the table you want to call out while we got it up here?
You called out that there was only 3 wins in the entire Bundesliga this weekend. I didn't even know that. That's insane. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
draws,
like,
man.
it's kind of like sprinkled in, like the bottom of the table, middle of the table, top of the table. It wasn't even like all 3 were at the top. Like, that's pretty crazy. Now, that's all I want to say. Like, good call out, sir, because that's hilarious.
Well, I know you want to talk about your boy Harry Kane because Bayern Munich are now the champions, which means that he gets to put something in his trophy case. Tell us a little bit more about Bayern Munich and who they play? Leipzig.
Leipzig Yeah, and it's kind of weird because I did this write-up after the match because I was watching it on Saturday, not knowing that they would win the league the next day. So I didn't. I'll have thoughts about them winning the league too, but I'm just going to tell you what I saw from the match from Bayern and Leipzig. And what I can say is that I don't think there's a single person that watches Bundesliga that saw Leipzig take that 2-0 lead and thought that they were going to get it done. Like, absolutely not. It's, not like they would do it against a good Bundesliga team and not against this specific Bayern team either. It was almost like they just made the game more annoying for Bayern, if anything, like we're going to win already, or we're going to whatever draw, like get away from me. But really, I mean, Bayern would get it done eventually, and they did. But credit to Leipzig because they kept fighting. And when Bayern did eventually get the 3-2 lead, I thought it was over. Paulsen scores deep into stoppage time with virtually the last touch of the game. And it was just really cool to see that Leipzig stadium went crazy. And I know that it's kind of like they delayed it for a day before they got the title. But either way, I mean, I'm sure the Leipzig faithful are excited that they got the win there. And it's cool because they don't get to celebrate on your pitch, like they're top four rivals. Like, get out of here. But obviously, we all know at this point what happened. The next day, Leverkusen, they get a draw, so they don't continue the inevitable, I guess is the best way to put it. Like, even if they would have won, we know that Bayern were going to win. But I don't know. I guess it sounds harsh on the way that I'm describing Leipzig, but I'm just really tired of them making the Champions League and not doing anything and kind of like being okay with getting top 3 or 4, but not getting, forcing themselves to go for the Bundesliga title. And if they don't get the Champions League qualification, I think I've said it a couple times already, just based off of money and the way that their wage bills are structured right now, they might have to sell off big players like Xavi Simons and a few others. Javi Simmons? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. Javi.
Yeah.
And but the way that they have to make room if they don't make the Champions League, it just tells you that they're relying on that income, but they're not actually doing anything with it once they're getting there. And that's kind of the annoying part about Leipzig. And I just really, if they're not going to be pushing further, they're kind of cool with their status quo, then I want to see someone else go. And this match, it kind of went in their favor. I thought I was kind of baking in the fact that they would have 0 points from this match, but they got a point. So they're closer to getting in the Champions League now. I don't know who I'd rather see, though, because Dortmund, they're always there. And Leipzig, they're always there, too. And there's some teams that are fighting around them that might, they get a chance. But it would almost be better to see, and I'm kind of going off on a rant now, but it would almost be better, Vic, if Mainz or Freiburg, Bremen, if any of those teams, they probably don't want to be in the Champions League first off, because what did we see with Stuttgart and Girona and, a couple other teams, Bologna in the Champions League? They were horrible. It wasn't fun to watch. And I feel like if these teams like Freiburg, Mainz, if they get into the Champions League, that's just going to be what happens to them. So maybe it's better for them to get Europa League or Conference League. But either way, I guess I'm not a Leipzig hater. It's just kind of they're annoying. Am I rude here or what?
You sound exactly like a Leipzig hater. Like it's exactly. It's not a hater. It's just they're really annoying. So
that's fair enough. I do want to go to their stadium though. It seems like it's a cool place, and I've heard that Leipzig, the city, is a fun place. So maybe we'll make it there one day, and I'll be like, okay, I'm bought in. But until then, I'm not buying in. Okay, let's move on, Vic. Let's talk about the last league we have. Let's go to England.
Let's do it to the Prem.
I had to stop myself. I almost said the Prem. But I didn't. So here we are. And let's talk. Let's talk about how things went down in England this weekend. And it all kicked off on Friday when Man City grinded out a 1-0 win over Wolves, who were the informed team in the Prem. So don't take them lightly. With that win, City are on the cusp of Champions League football next season, much to Hype Man Vic's chagrin. Chagrin?
Chagrin, yes.
Chagrin. Saturday, Aston Villa keep their Champions League dreams alive for next season, as well as with a 1-0 win over Fulham. Villa scored thanks to Yuri Tillemans in the 12th minute, and that was all that was required for 3 points. So if you watch the rest of the match, the rest of the match, sorry for you, nothing else happened. And this one's pretty funny. In a match that was deemed El Crapico, Leicester beats Southampton 2-0. And that's, I mean, you want me to break that one down? Nah, nobody wants me to break that one
we're good.
Yeah. Everton draw 2-2 with Ipswich Town, and that's not good for Everton as they raced out to a 2-goal lead and allowed an already relegated team to fight their way back into it, Vic. Oh, Danny P is lucky he's not here. Arsenal lose 2-1 to Bournemouth at the Emirates, and oddly enough, they didn't rotate nearly as much as I thought they would, but they don't care really. I mean, they're just trying to. They know the league's wrapped up already, so they're just trying to get to that Champions League final, and they have a goal to come back against PSG in the. Oh, we'll talk all about. I'm excited for that match, but either way, they didn't care too much about this one. It was big for Bournemouth though, big for the Cherries. On Sunday, Newcastle dropped points to a struggling Brighton side with a 1-1 draw, and it's not a good time to be dropping points in the Prem, especially for that Champions League qualification area because it is getting tight up there, folks. Brentford get a 4-3 home win over Manchester United, and Man U almost come back, but they don't. They lose again. West Ham and Spurs draw 1-1 in a pointless match. Spurs' only hope is winning the Europa League, and West Ham, they have no hope. Chelsea dominate the champs 3-1, but that's not totally fair as Liverpool rotated their squad, and they probably would have won had they not rotated. And we talked about it in the preview. We'll talk about it here in just a second as well. I don't really know what to expect from Liverpool. They already have it wrapped up, but I digress. On Monday, Forest, they drew with Palace, which is today. They drew with Palace, which means that after all the work they've done this season, Vic, after everything that we've watched them go through, they may not qualify for the Champions League. They're currently, anyway, on the outside facing in, and that's not good. That is not good. We don't want to see that. We like a little, I mean, I guess if they get into the Conference League, it'd be cool too, or the Europa League, whatever. But man, that sucks for Forest to go this far without a reward. Okay, Vic, tell us where the Premier League table is after match day 35.
Yes. Of course, things are still bright and shiny on top as Liverpool are still your champions. Not going anywhere. Obviously, they have 82 points.
You can just, there's no point.
Still there, obviously, with the trophy on top. Look at that. It's a nice little trophy up there. Anyway, we'll keep going. Arsenal in the number 2 spot with 67 points. Followed, unfortunately, by Manchester City with 64 points in the number 3 spot. Newcastle United have the number 4 spot with 63 points, and Chelsea also with 63 points round out our top 5. Followed by Nottingham Forest, the story of the season. They now fall to the number 6 spot in the Europa League spot as well, but they have 61 points, followed very, very quickly by Aston Villa, who have 60 points. There's a drop off there for Bournemouth, a clear 7 points with 3 games left. It's going to be a tall task for them to pull something out of their hat, not their ass, to get into these European tournament spots, but we will see what happens. It's going to be pretty fun for 4, 5, and 6 there. And Manchester City too. They only have 64 points, but anyway, looking at the bottom of the table, you'll find the relegation squad: Ipswich Town, Leicester City, Southampton, all relegated. I would give you their points. Doesn't matter though. They have a couple of dates with Wrexham next year in the championship. Good luck, boys. Sayonara. And I'm actually, I kind of want to see those matches now. I want to see Wrexham play like Ipswich or like Southampton. I want to see that now. Yeah,
it's insane.
It's pretty crazy to think of. But anyway, anything on the table you want to take a look at? Maybe call out the battle for 15th, Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur?
Absolutely not. Okay. No. No. We're good.
All right. Well, as you said, Chelsea did put a little whooping on us, 3-1. We had a little bit of a rotating side, but you have a little more insight on that match, Snooze.
I was actually gonna just talk about it with you, chop it up, because from what I mean, we talked about it already on off air and through text, but from what I was watching, it really just looks like this is just Liverpool's, like, they're just touring around and saying bye to everybody and hi for their trophy, right? Because first off, it's demeaning for Chelsea to have to do the Guard of Honor. I'm glad our team didn't have to do it.
Y'all are so lucky, man. I was telling y'all that. Yeah, I was like, y'all lucky we don't play Everton. Y'all lucky we don't play Tottenham these last few games. I took pictures of that.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad. But watching the match, though, I wasn't sure how Liverpool would come out. Once I saw the squad and I didn't know any of the defenders' names, I was like, all right, yeah, I know how this is going to turn out. And to their credit, they had attackers out there still. and they had Virgil van Dijk was still out there, right? I mean, I saw him, and I know he got did he score? He scored the goal,
Yeah,
right?
he got a header. He got the goal.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of like they're trying to not try hard, if that makes sense. And now I know, though. Now I won't put them in the spotlight anymore because we understand what's going to happen. But for Chelsea, that's really where the talking points are here because, like we were looking at the table a second ago, it is heating up for those final Champions League spots. And then how things shake out, as we've said for a few months now, if some of the Prem teams end up winning more of those trophies, there could be a lot more spots on the line. And Chelsea are definitely primed, especially with this win, because I don't think anybody was baking in 3 points against Liverpool, and now they have that with a couple more matches to go. So, yeah, like teams like Forest, Newcastle, just dropping points is not a good time right now, especially when Chelsea are right there on their heels, if not above them by the time you see this. So that was all I wanted to say, Vic. Anything you wanted to get from this match off your chest?
No, I kind of didn't think we were going to rotate until you asked, and I was like, yeah, we have everybody in except him and Kwanzaa starting, and looks like Indo's starting, and Simicast. I'm like, okay, I guess we are rotating. You're right. And I'm just call out Trent Alexander-Arnold did tell everyone today that he's not going to be joining Liverpool next season. He's going to be leaving at the end of the season, probably going to Real Madrid. That's where everybody's saying he's going to go, and I think they've had a deal made out for about like 3 months already. But he's going to be gone.
Madridista fashion.
Mm-hmm. But it's going to be okay. I don't even think TAA plays the rest of the season. I mean, why risk it? We already won a championship. He's going to go play somewhere else. He's not going to try to get injured. He's going to maybe stay in shape, but just do some cardio. But yeah, I don't even think we see him the rest of the season.
There'd be no point.
No point at all. Yeah.
No.
And I guess probably a lot of other people, but I don't know. I'm indifferent about it. We won. It's all right. We're good.
There's gonna be a lot of Darwin Nunez on your TV screen because they're trying to make him get a goal so they can sell him off for a decent price.
That'd be nice. That would be nice. Yes. I saw Nunez is our boy, man.
I saw him miss that freaking great header chance, and I was like, oh god, this guy.
Hey, he wasn't the only one. There was a lot of people missing chances of it during that game.
Fair enough.
Good chances.
Fair enough.
But
all right.
Yeah. Of course, he was one of them. Yes.
I mean, of course, yeah, has to. It's like his calling card. Who am I talking about? My team's in 15th place right now. Like, shut up, guy. Or 16th. We're fighting for. Anyway, it's stupid. Who cares? Yeah. All right, let's move on. We're almost out of here, Vic. This is like record time. Let's talk about the UEFA competitions.
Do it. Did you just do finger guns?
Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh? We won't dive too much into these because we've done it a few times already. But just a reminder, we'll start with the matches that come on Thursday, and we'll start with the Conference League. And Real Betis come into this match. They're going to Florence, to our Fiorentina, with a 2-1 lead, and that one's going to be awesome. And as much as I really, really want to see Fiorentina get over the hump as they lost it last year, I want to see a Betis and Chelsea final in the Conference League. That would be really cool. Just because the way that Betis are playing, they're playing some awesome football right now, and I think that'd be a great match. Plus, Chelsea have pretty much sleepwalked this entire competition, and so I'd like to see them get to the final and then lose, right? And then Anthony wins a trophy whenever he goes to Betis. Like that would be awesome. What wouldn't be awesome is if Manchester United they're taking a 3-0 lead into Old Trafford against Athletic Club. And I wouldn't want to see them in the final because Spurs have a 3-1 lead going to Bodo Glimt this Thursday. And the reason why I say I don't want to see that is because, if we were playing, I'm a Spurs fan. So if Spurs were playing Athletic Club in San Mamés, their home stadium for the final, them losing it is kind of like, it's all good. We cannot lose to Manchester United in a freaking final for a trophy. I can't tell you, like, if that end up being what the final is, like, I'm going to be so nervous for that match just because, like, even when the Champions League final happened with Liverpool a few years back, like, I kind of expected to lose because Liverpool were just, they were the best team in Europe and we kind of like squeaked our way into that final. If we get to this final though, like we'll be the team that's expected to win. And that's never a good time, at least this season for Spurs fans. So anyway, nobody wants to hear me talk about Europa League too much. Let's talk about the good competition, the Champions League. And on Tuesday, which is today, if you're watching this, Barcelona and Inter, they drew 3-3. If you don't remember, Lamine Yamal had a ridiculous match, and Inter was scoring from corners, headers all day long. And so they go to San Siro to figure out who's going to the final. And I was doing the math here. I was looking up the dates of who got into the final or wins the last time. Inter were in the final that Manchester City won, right? So that was in 22-23. So they were just in a Champions League final, which, not too long ago. They didn't win it, obviously, but I'm just putting whenever they got there. Barcelona, funny enough, the last time they were in a Champions League final was 2015. Like, that seems not right. Like,
yeah,
you're telling me 10 years ago for a Barca team? I didn't know that. So, yeah, I think like in my mind, they always make it, but no, they have not. And then the other match on the other side of the bracket, Vic, Arsenal, PSG. PSG have that 1-0 lead, and they're going to Parc des Princes. I don't know how to say it in they're going to Paris to play. And I was looking there. PSG, they were in the final the COVID year 2020 when Bayern Munich won it. And I guess like I vaguely remember that one, but they didn't win it, so it is what it is. But Arsenal, the last time they were in the Champions League final, 05-06 season. So, a long time ago. And
we were in high school. We were graduating.
I know, crazy. So yeah, either way, it's like we're getting a final between teams that don't often win it, which whenever you see these big teams, you don't expect to see that. You don't expect to hear that. But I just wanted to level set with everyone because I think any of these teams winning outside, I can't be biased. My journalism has to be unbiased, but I wouldn't want to see Arsenal win it. Let's put it that way. But if they do, like, these aren't teams that usually win it, and so either way, we're in for a treat. I'm hoping for a PSG Barcelona final. Vic, what are you going for? I think you said that before too, right?
Yeah, I'm going the same way. And of course, we already know PSG is the best team in the world. They knocked out Liverpool, so they're going to win. So they have to win because then we could say we got knocked out by the champion. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Okay. PSG
and Barcelona. I think I have them over Inter. I mean, I have them. I don't even know why. I can't tell you statistically why I think so. I just think they're a better team.
Lamine Yamal. That's the only statistic.
There you go.
Lamine Yamal.
I saw a picture of that picture of him in the tub, like as a little square kid, like baby, with Messi. That blew up over the summer.
Yeah.
I just saw someone posted it again. I'm like, golly, that is so, like, what baby is square? Why does he look like that?
Man, that's a good picture.
I thought this was gonna be a quick show. We're already almost at 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Take us home, sir.
All right, everyone. Thank you for hanging out with us and talking some European football. Everyone, please like and subscribe. It's the absolute best way to promote us. And also, we're going to be going over all these matches this coming weekend as we go down to the wire with all of these different leagues. Bundesliga is going to be absolutely fun. Serie A is going to be amazing. So be sure to subscribe and get all of our episodes as soon as they come out, and we can talk about them more and more. And leave a comment down below what you're excited for, because we want to talk to you guys, interact with you guys. We love it. And of course, follow us on all our social medias. Everything at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for Twitter, except for TikTok. It's at No Biz Sock Pod. I think it's right here. I don't know which way I face anymore, but it's right there. It's right down there now. Yeah. So, everyone, we will talk to you very soon when we go over this next weekend's matches. Y'all have a great day, and we will talk to you then.
Peace.